Something's brewing at D&D.
Wow!
Al Pacino!
It's not Al anymore. It's Dunk.
Dunkachino?
Don't mind if I do.
What's my name?
Dunkachino!
It's a whole new game.
Dunkachino!
You want creamy goodness? I'm your friend. Say hello to my chocolate blend. Attica, hoo-ah, lucky light. This whole trial is out of sight. They pull me back in with hazelnut too. Caramel swirl, I know it was you. Everyone wants my Dunkachino. Can't get enough of my Dunkachino. Kids from 7 to 17 lining up for my Dunkachino. What's my name?
Dunkachino!
Ah, Dunkachino!
I just felt like we all needed a little break from all the madness.
What the heck was that?
So, all right, let's get the show going. Chris Scalzi here with
Matt Howell.
On this episode of The First Run, Matt and I discuss Kelly Reichardt's First Cow, spend a few minutes on Phoenix, the World War II drama thriller. We'll, of course, run down the big releases on physical media featuring our straight-to-DVD and streaming picks of the week. And then finally, we'll wrap up the show with our 5 favorite movies about betrayal. Matt, it's going to be a fun week. I hope you enjoyed that little aside in the beginning. That's from Jack and Jill, the horrific Adam Sandler comedy. So I just needed a little break after the... we're recording this the day after the debates. I don't know if anybody paid attention or watched it, but not good. Not good. Very good, bad. I'm not even going to use it. So let's hear a clip from First Cow instead.
What's your name?
King Lu. So they call me. You?
Otis Figowitz. They call me Cookie.
Good to meet you. There are some men chasing me. Russians. Have you seen them?
Why are men chasing you?
I might have killed one of their friends. Genovese, my friend. They called him a thief and then gutted him from neck to loin. I had a pistol. I took a shot. I got one in the neck. Then they came after me and I ran.
Matt, that's a little bit of a teaser as to what this film's about. Why don't you expand upon that? What is First Cow all about?
So it's the 19th century, early 19th century, and people are starting to move out west into the Pacific Northwest seeking their fortune. A young man named Otis, nicknamed Cookie, is on with some trappers when he discovers a naked Chinese man hiding in the woods from a band of Russians. He takes pity on him, gives him some food, and manages to smuggle him safely into town. Once they get there, they discover that they are both seeking fame and fortune, and they come up with a plan to use the first cow in the territory to help build up their fortune.
Very good. So, Matt, let me ask you. This may be a little remnant of films like Slow West, as some people say. A Western that seemed to be very long. I would like to say around here, deliberately paced. So Kelly Reichardt's film comes in at just over 2 hours. And there's some contemporary reviews I've read that are saying it's too long or it's too slow. How do you feel about that? Does the film justify its runtime and its kind of expansion of this, drawing out this story of these two men who are trying to make a go of it, and perhaps there's something else going on between the two of them as well? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting film in the sense that there are some very obvious telegraphing foreshadowing in the beginning of this film that kind of sets up how this may go. And I think for the bulk of this film, it's a very specific type of kind of slow, they'll say deliberate, kind of examination of a friendship. Maybe there's something more to it. People trying to make their way. not necessarily bad people, but willing people to do, things that's maybe unscrupulous to get ahead of what they have. And then this thing kind of slowly starts to turn, and then it kind of shifts into this kind of mounting suspense that's just kind of creeping up on the horizon that just can't be stopped. And it's becomes a very different film, I think, probably about 3/4 of the way in. I think I liked the fact that it started off one way and it just so ever so slowly kind of build up to what it became, that I appreciated it. I thought it was very effective.
Yeah, and I felt it was entirely earned, right? Nothing felt forced. The whole thing played out very organically, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's not like it's some massive shoe that's dropped. It's just basically you can see this one set of decisions leads to another, which leads to another, and like you said, in a very organic way.
So I found this thing, Matt, just to be wonderful. Really, just this beautiful little contemplative film. It's very quiet. It's very earnest and endearing. I think Reichardt does a really fantastic job examining the relationships between these men in a time where that may be advancing that relationship to, I think, what she's hinting to isn't really, I think, really plausible, really. And everything in the film kind of feels so simple yet so consequential at the same time. And it's beautifully shot, right? There are some wonderful landscapes, but also kind of these tight shots in these forests. But I enjoyed the pacing of this. As you said, it is very deliberate, but you do spend the time with these two men as they become closer, trying, as you said, to make their fame and fortune, as all these kind of factors revolving around them. There's the Russians, there's the issue he's at the trappers, there's the lots of just wonderful things happening in the harsh edges of the landscape that they are in. I really loved this film. I thought John Magaro and Oren Lee, who are our stars, they play Otis and King Lu, are fantastic. They deliver really kind of these layered, nuanced performances between the two of them, and you really get a feel for the affection that they have for each other, especially near the end when they're reunited after they have to separate at one point. Or even when they're reunited in halfway through the film, right? I mean, there's these great little moments, and finally that touching ending in this somewhat ambiguous ending, though, as you said, is telegraphed from the beginning of the film. I think Reichardt does a really great job just kind of showing us what's about to happen, right? And it's just beautiful. Really, it truly is a beautiful little film.
Yeah, I think you're right on the money. I mean, Chris is often wrong, but he's not wrong here. For some people, and I know many of these people, they may say it's slow. I would hope that people can give it a chance, and maybe they'll be pleasantly surprised with it. Although I can concede that this is not going to be a film for everybody, but that's okay. I still think you should give it a chance and find out if it is a film for you, because you just don't know until you watch it.
Yeah, I agree. Reichardt's known for this stuff. If you haven't seen any of her work, I can't recommend it enough. I just started catching up with her stuff a couple years ago with Wendy and Lucy with Michelle Williams, which is just another fantastic film. Meek's Cut Off, which Michelle Williams is in that again as well. Just some really interesting, grounded cinema in the days and the lives of people. It's just, Reichardt's really, she's fantastic. So, Matt, I ended up giving First Cow an A-. What about you?
Yeah, I ended up giving it an A- as well. And I just, if I can digress, can I digress for 1 minute?
Please,
here,
by all means.
I have a weird thing where, why is it always like unless it's like in the Southwest, like it's always shown as muddy, wet, and cold in these kind of movies. Like, it drives me absolutely crazy that there's just muddy filth everywhere. And it's like, come on, you couldn't do this in spring or summer, at least part of it? It can't be that bad all the time, right?
But that's because we have to illustrate just the hardship that the people are in, right? That opens up with Cookie, and his trappers are all like, they're basically starving. They're so hungry, and he's trying to collect all this food, and it just helps provide the atmosphere of just the strife and the struggles that they're going through. It's just another added layer, that's all.
I mean, I get it. I guess it's just a personal pet peeve. It's like, The Witch. Everything is always muddy and disgusting all the time. It's like, come on, man. We live in temperate climes. It's not like that all the time. It can still be hard to find food, even if you got to hunt it down, even if it's temperate.
It's a visual medium, though. If you're walking through and it's a beautiful day, and a guy goes, "Man, I'm really hungry," and there's birds chirping in the background, there's wide open fields, the sun's out, and it looks gorgeous.
I think that would be more effective. to show how difficult it may be to find food.
Fine.
I just hate the mud, man. I don't know what it is. It just drives me crazy. I'm like, it's just a pet peeve. I don't know why that is. I understand it's weird film shorthand for this sucks, but it's like, man, nothing is muddy all the damn time.
And then you'd have a guy like, God, I'm so hungry. And then his buddy would be like, yeah, but it's gorgeous out today, isn't it?
Yeah, because maybe it's like it's not all bad, man. Stop your complaining.
That's right. If you've had a chance to see First Cow, shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. It is currently streaming. Well, you have to rent it everywhere. I don't believe it's on any actual platform, just part of a subscription service quite as of yet.
Although I predict by early November, because I rented this through the cable company, they said it was available until 11/5. So I predict by 11/5 it'll be out somewhere else.
There you go. Moving on, Matt, let's spend a few minutes to talk about what's coming up on physical media this upcoming Tuesday. Well, we're going to tease it a little bit, though, too, because there's some stuff coming out on October 2nd, not just October 6th. But here's one film that I've been waiting for on Blu-ray for quite a while. It's one of the more subversive comedies of the past. See, now I'm blanking on when it came out. 20 years, I guess? God, I'm getting old. Enjoy.
What are you doing here? Oh, Amber, like you're the only one who visits Mary? Who are you? Who are you? Oh, Mary, you kill me. She always says that. It's a little game we play every week, same dippy little look on her face. Who are you? Who are you? Just like that. It's me, Becky. And I brought your favorites.
Real nice, Becky. She's anorexic.
She's skinny, Amber, not deaf.
So, of course, that is a clip from Drop Dead Gorgeous, the mockumentary from 1999 by Michael Patrick John, featuring Kirstie Alley, Ellen Barkin, Kirsten Dunst, Denise Richards, and more. Amy Adams is actually in this as well, Brittany Murphy. So, have you ever seen Drop Dead Gorgeous, Matt?
I think so, but it was so long ago, and I only saw it the one time that I remember next to nothing about it.
Shatner's in it, too. It is hilarious, and it hasn't been available, I think, on Blu-ray ever. So I am very excited to finally be able to check this out again. It's been a very long time. I just remember being really pleasantly surprised. It's just a dark, black mockumentary comedy, and if you're into that kind of stuff, I think you'll really enjoy it. But coming out first on October 2nd, Roger Waters' concert film, Us and Them. I'm really looking forward to seeing this. He was supposed to come back around. He was here in Tampa, Matt, about a year or so ago, and I didn't go. And then I got that new album he put out, and it was very, very good. And he was supposed to come back around this year for another kind of leg of the tour. And then obviously the virus hit and it got postponed. So if he comes back next year, maybe I'll go. But this concert film is supposed to be actually very, very good. Also, just a side note that I think it's early October on HBO Max, Spike Lee's directed version of David Byrne's most recent tour, which I did see, the American Utopia tour, is coming out on HBO Max. And that was fantastic. That was one of the coolest concerts I'd ever been to in my entire life. And there are some people who've seen the film already who are raving about Spike Lee, what he's added to it as well. So I'm really looking forward to checking that out on HBO Max in a few weeks. Also coming out on October 2nd, Tesla. This is the Ethan Hawke version, where he plays Tesla as a young man in New York City. October 6th, Save Yourselves. A young Brooklyn couple heads to an upstate cabin to unplug from their phones and reconnect with each other. Blissfully unaware of their surroundings, they are left to their own devices as the planet falls under attack. Includes commentary by the directors and writers, deleted extended scenes, and blooper reels. I saw the trailer for this and it looked pretty funny. We may want to check it out. Jillian Jacobs stars in I Want to Go There. It follows her as Kate, a mid-30s writer, recently after releasing her novel. The release should have been a milestone moment, but the novel is underperforming, and her tour has since been canceled. Also features Jermaine Clement. This is a little independent film that actually played in the local theaters here for a little while when the theaters first opened again. I like the people involved, so maybe I'll check it out. How about Adolf? Stefan and his wife, Elizabeth, organized a dinner in their house in Bonn, Germany, invited her family friends, Renee Thomas and his pregnant girlfriend, Anna. While the parents of the unborn boy make sure that the evening planned as a cozy get-together suddenly gets out of hand when they announce that they want to call their child Adolf, and thus cause a scandal. Shudder is releasing one of their films on physical media, Yummy, which includes a making-of featurette. Picard, the CBS All Access show, is getting a steelbook release and a regular release as well. Matt, have you seen Picard?
I have not.
You're
It's
the
one of
Next
those
Gen
things.
fan now here, right?
Yeah, I am. And then I haven't seen Discovery either. I do want to catch up with both of them. I just haven't really had the opportunity.
There you go. Pere la Fleur, I think I nailed that, from Criterion is being released. Dissatisfied in marriage and life, Ferdinand takes the road with the babysitter, his ex-lover, Marianne Renoir, and leaves a bourgeoisie behind. It's a brand new 2K restoration of the film, interview with actor Anna Karina from 2007, a video essay from 2007 as well, a 50-minute French documentary from 2007 about the film, and more. How about this one, Matt? I remember really liking this movie when I saw it. I think this is another mid-90s film. Snow White, A Tale of Terror. This is the Grimm, the Grimm brothers version of Snow White. It leans heavy into the horror. I believe Sigourney Weaver plays the witch thing there.
The evil queen.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I remember that coming around, but I never saw it.
Yeah, I remember really liking it at the time. That's finally getting released on Blu-ray as well. Arrow is releasing The Deeper You Dig. 4-year-old Echo and her mother Ivy, a tarot card leader, live in a quiet life in a rural area. When reclusive Kurt moves down the road to restore an abandoned farmhouse, an accident leads to Echo's murder, and suddenly, 3 lives collide in mysterious and wicked ways. Audio commentary by the writer-director star Toby Poser and John Adams. An exclusive in-depth interview with the trio of filmmakers responsible for the film, and more. Kino is giving us the Michael J. Fox film, The Secret of My Success on Blu-ray. Includes a brand new interview with co-star Helen Slater, a new audio commentary as well. They're also releasing The Hard Way, which is the Michael J. Fox, James Woods film.
I remember.
God, James Woods is such an asshole. New audio commentary with the director John Badham as well. David Ayer's film, The Tax Collector, is being released on Blu-ray as well. It's featuring Shia LaBeouf in a steelbook from Best Buy. A tax collector for a crime lord finds his family's safety compromised when his boss's old rival shows up in L.A. and upends his business. Includes some deleted scenes. Man, Ayer has fallen down the ladder, huh? He kind of blew on the scene there with End of Watch, which is an okay film. I don't think it's as good as a lot of people say it is. And then, of course, the Suicide Squad debacle, and then some other stuff. Yeah, I don't know. The Secret Garden, a girl discovers a magical garden at her uncle's house, is getting a Blu-ray release. To Your Last Death, starring Marina Baccarin. And she plays a mysterious game master. Ray Wise is in this, Danny Lennon, Bill Moseley, and Bill Shatner himself. In order to save her siblings, a young woman takes on her father and the powerful entity known as Game Master, who ensnares humans in diabolical plots while our species gambles on the outcome. Each Blu-ray purchase comes with a redemption code for 4 hours of digital extras. I thought that was interesting. All the special features are digital downloads. There's nothing on the disc itself.
Interesting.
Tales from the Hood 3 is getting released, a brand new anthology which features Tony Todd. And Matt, your 4K releases this week are Shutter Island and 300. And you can get a steelbook of 300 if that's your bag. Straight to DVD pick of the week. Man, I go back and forth. One of them, Matt, features Ryan Phillippe and Casper Van Dien. The other one is called Naked Cannibal Campers. Which one do you want to hear about?
Oh, that's tough. You know what? I think Naked Cannibal Campers tells you everything you need to know right in the title, so let's go with the other one.
Fair enough. So it's called The Second. Secret Service agent Vic Davis, played by Ryan Phillippe, is on his way to pick up his estranged son, Sean, from his college campus when he finds himself in the middle of a high-stakes terrorist operation. The daughter of a Supreme Court justice is the target, and this armed faction will stop at nothing to kidnap her. Vic quickly realizes that there's no one coming to rescue them, and must now use an entire set of skills, a particular set of skills, to save her and his son from an incredibly dangerous and lethal situation. So I'm assuming Casper Van Dien's our bad guy. I don't know.
Gotcha.
He doesn't come back up in the write-up. So what should we be streaming this week?
So in honor of last week's show with I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Charlie Kaufman, I'm going to recommend something that really put Charlie Kaufman on the map, which is 1999's Being John Malkovich, starring John Cusack Cameron Diaz and the titular John Malkovich. Essentially, Cusack plays like a copy clerk who works in an office. This kind of weird, surrealist, real-world kind of place. When he discovers a door that when you go through it, you suddenly occupy the mind and body of John Malkovich. It's a very strange, really weird film, and it really is indicative of Kaufman as a whole. I would check it out. It's kind of a late 90s oddball film.
I haven't seen that in a very long, probably since it came out. It's something. It is something.
It is on Netflix as well. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, there you go. All right, Matt. Our Neo-Noir Marathon is quickly coming to a close.
It's sad because it's been so good.
It is. I've rather enjoyed it. So, but here is the penultimate film in the marathon. We'll spend a few minutes talking about Phoenix.
Wenn ich aus dem Lager komme, da fragt mich doch jemand, was ich da erlebt habe oder was ich da...
Was denn?
Wie es mir erging. Da muss ich doch was erzählen.
Was wollen Sie denn erzählen? Was denn?
Irgendwas ist...
They will, Matt. They will. They may very well ask for a story. So, Phoenix, Matt, as you can probably tell from listening to that clip, is a Canadian film, and it's German. And Nina Haas plays Nellie Lenz. She was in a concentration camp, and she was freed by the Allied soldiers. She's able to come home. She's being helped by a dear friend, trying to assimilate back into life. She had to have facial reconstructive surgery, so she looks kind of like what she used to, but maybe not quite, right? And she is desperate to reconnect with her husband. But there may be something going on with her husband. It's entirely possible, Matt, that he betrayed her to the Nazis. So that is generally what our film is about, and she uses her change in look to kind of infiltrate her husband and kind of see if he really did betray her or not. Turns out he's attempting to... They meet up, and he is using her because, she looks like my wife, to then cash in on her estate because all of her family were killed in the Holocaust, and now she's going to inherit all the money, the homes, everything, because she's the last survivor. He employs her to act as his assumingly deceased wife to enrich himself. Mm-hmm. Matt, Phoenix is part thriller, part romance, all cop. Well, no, it's all... That's a RoboCop thing there. It's all enthralling is what it is. Now, I think there may be... If I had any issues with this film, I think at times it runs a bit long, and I think there are some leaps that you are asked to take in this film that may be a bit much, but I will say there are two things about this film that will stay with me for a very long time. One is Nina Haas's performance. It is exceptionally layered. She is a victim in this film over and over again, surviving impossible horrors, Matt, and desperate to reconcile with a man that may have betrayed her the entire time. I can't begin to imagine what that must be like, and she emotes this just internal fight within herself so incredibly well. It gets a little repetitive, I think, at times, but then, once we get to that conclusion, one of the most powerful endings of a film I can recall in the past 10 years, Matt. I had goosebumps. I was gasping. I mean, it was exceptionally powerful. And any slight limitations or issues I had with the film were immediately erased with that final 5 minutes. I mean, that ending knocked me on my ass. What did you think about Phoenix?
It's interesting. I mean, I think it's very interesting for you to call this slow because the last one we watched was very deliberately paced, and it was over 2 hours long. This is deliberately paced and very, I think, intentionally meditative, and it's barely over an hour and a half,
right.
Which I think is interesting the way you put that. And I this has been a marathon that I've really enjoyed, and this is a noirish film that is incredibly subtle. It's very different than all of our other films, where all the other films that we watch have been almost over the top, and just how, with Cape Fear being at the most over the topness of just mustache twirling evil kind of stuff going on. This is like a very subtle, believable evil. And while I agree it can be very slow at times, Koss's performance is just so incredible. And just to watch her kind of struggle with the fact that she just cannot come to accept that her husband did this to her. And he didn't just send her, she didn't just go to any concentration camp. She went to Auschwitz. I mean, that's where she went. And the reason she had to get facial reconstructive surgeries is because the guards tried to kill her before they abandoned the camp, before the Allies got there. I don't know. It's just a powerful film all around. And I completely agree with you. The last 5 minutes of this is just a kind of roller coaster suspense that just lands on a gut punch. And that last scene is just incredible. I wouldn't say it was necessarily slow at all. I was kind of really into this from the beginning. As much as I was frustrated with Haas's character as time is like, really, like, can't you just get over this? But, you know, I mean, maybe she was the thing that she clung to while she was in there, you know, so.
That's fair. And I don't know if slow is the apt description. I think it's a little, I've made it to this, it gets a little repetitive, I think, at times when she's so desperate to reconnect with him and be with him. But you're right. Upon, when you think about it, the fact that that's what she clung to the whole time was to reconnect with her husband again once, if maybe she didn't even know she'd ever see him again, as she would survive. I mean, she's shot and left for dead. So you're entirely right, Matt. That's a very fair point, and I think deserves a reconsideration on my part. So, but again, I keep going back to that ending with that. I'm telling you, folks, it's worth the 100 minutes just for that. Just it is, like you said, it's a gut punch. It absolutely will floor you.
Yeah, and I don't want to say too much more. I mean, this is a lot of films that we don't like to talk too much about it because we don't want to ruin anything. You know, although some of them more than others we've been willing to ruin. So I think we should probably leave it there. What are you giving it?
So I ended up giving it a B+.
Yeah, I was on the fence between a B+ and an A-, but I think I'm gonna go with an A- on this one.
Look at
Have
you.
I given an A- to all of these?
I don't know. You know what? That's interesting. I haven't updated the report card on the site in a while because I like to let it sit a bit so people actually listen instead of just going straight to the report card.
Sure.
But Grifters A-, Cape Fear A-, Handmaiden A-. You are consistent. I'll give you that.
I am being consistent. Yeah, we'll see with the Chinatown coming up as our final film. We'll see how I view that because I've never actually seen Chinatown all the way through. It's just like bits and pieces. So
I have, but yeah. No, I'm currently at Grifters. I gave a B+. Cape Fear I gave a B+. Handmaiden I gave an A, and then of course I gave a B+ to Phoenix.
There you go.
So there you are. If you had a chance to see Phoenix, it is currently available as part of the Criterion Collection and on the Criterion channel. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Man, I'm telling you, that thing's going to haunt me. So powerful. Check it out, folks. All right, Matt. Let's bring things home and spend a few minutes here discussing our 5 favorite films about betrayal. Here's one that didn't quite make the cut for me.
I can't forget how wonderful it was.
Thank you. It was rather wonderful.
Dr. Schneider. Your car is ready.
That's how Austrians say goodbye.
Oh, Elsa. Damn Nazis. Of course, that is Of course, that is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I love Sean Connery in that film. He's so much fun. I just rewatched Outland again the other night. I don't know why. I just have such an odd affection. I think we talked about it a few weeks ago, and it just kind of laid the foundation for me to want to watch it again. So, either way, Matt. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, a film about betrayal because Ilsa pretends to be an ally, and of course, she is not. So, Matt, why don't you go ahead and start everything off? What's your 5th favorite film that focused on betrayal?
So
had a good one in it.
My list is more geared toward famous betrayals or betrayals that They're not necessarily, they're integral to the films, but they may not be what the entire film's about. So,
yeah, so's mine. You're right.
Yeah. My number 5, I had to do it when Chris talked about this. He threw out some ideas, and I have to put it in there at my number 5, is my man Lando Calrissian betraying not only his dear friend Han Solo, but the rebellion in and of itself to, I guess, semi-honorable intentions to save his city, but at the same time, he's turning them over to Darth Vader for torture and execution. So, Lando, you dipped pretty low there, but you managed to just bring yourself back up into everybody's good graces by blowing up the Death Star. So I'll give you a pass this time.
That's pretty nice of you. I'm sure he appreciates that. No, that's a good pick. All right, Matt. Here's my number 5, and it illustrates my favorite through line, I think, for every single one of these films, and how really the true evil is the corporations.
So I made a decision, and it was wrong. It was a bad call, Ripley. It was a bad call.
Bad call.
Right.
These people are dead, Burke!
Of course, that is Burke Paul Reiser in Aliens, where he basically sets them up. He sets up Ripley and Newt to be impregnated by the aliens so he can get the specimens home. One of the weird things about this film, too, when you watch it now, is when they talk about the money and how outdated it is with the inflation. Yeah. He said it'd be worth millions.
Right.
All right. Clearly, it would be at least billions today, if not even more. Who knows?
Yeah, probably by then it'd be trillions.
Exactly. So, there you go. But that's my number 5, is Burke from Aliens.
Mm-hmm. That was really cool that you did that. I feel like we should have pulled a clip for every single one of these that we were doing. That would have been fun. All right, so my number 4, I vacillated on which one to put in here, but I had to go with my favorite. I went with Bill's betrayal in Kill Bill, where he tracks down Kiddo, and he insinuates himself into the ceremonies before sicking his deadly assassins on them, driving the whole force of the movie. And that whole scene, that whole 15, 20-minute scene is just palpable with tension throughout the entire thing. And it really is just the kind of its entire existence for the movie is this one betrayal.
Interesting pick, Matt. Not familiar. So my number 4 is Bryony, her false accusation in Joe Wright's Atonement. He walks in on James McAvoy and Keira Knightley's characters. I think the romantic term is getting down. And she has an affection for his character, so she is insanely jealous as though as a younger woman. She later sees another woman being raped and then blames McAvoy's character, betrays him, which gets him arrested, and then he gets conscripted into World War. Is it 1 in Atonement? Is it 2? It's 2, right?
I think it's 2, yeah.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember finding the film exceptionally powerful, beautiful, and heartbreaking. So her betrayal in that film is the linchpin of that entire movie, or the book, you could say, too. But yeah, it's my number 4, is Bryony's false accusation in Atonement.
So my number 3 is, I'm going back to Star Wars as well, because executing Order 66, where the clones all turn on the Jedi at the behest of their commander, the Emperor. Just how quickly they turn on a dime from being the absolutely supportive, loyal soldiers to killing all of their Jedi commanders is pretty heartbreaking. It's one of the only really good things in that film.
That's true. And it's an honorable mention for me, is the Jedi slaughter. Especially when Anakin goes to kill all the younglings. Woof.
Yes.
I don't know how you come back from that, but whatever, Lucas, whatever.
Well, I mean, he did go from being really upset that he killed Mace Windu to killing 5-year-olds within, the span of like a day. So
things happen.
Character development.
My number 3 then is Lando as well. His betrayal of the rebels, specifically Han and the crew. I know he has some kind of honorable reasoning for it to save his people in Cloud City, but it's a dick move, Lando. I don't know, but that's my number 3.
So my number 2 is actually Bryony in Atonement, because what Chris is also, he called her a young woman. She is a child. She's like 12 or 13 years old, and this is like petulant jealousy for something that she can't have, and she basically ruins a whole string of lives, which is, she tries to atone for. Dun dun dun. That's why the movie's called that. But it's just an absolutely crushing blow to see that film. It's just a realistic betrayal, where these other ones are all, murder and selling them out to, intergalactic governments, whereas this is something you could actually see happening,
Exactly. So my number 2 then is it's Bill's betrayal of the bride as well. I have a bunch of layups here for the final 3. So, yeah. But still, yeah, it's that reveal at the end of Kill Bill 2. I remember when did Kill Bill come out? Like 99?
Yeah, maybe a little later. No, it wasn't that. No, it was in late 90s, early 2000s.
Was it 2003? Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, but that end when the reveal that the kid is alive, that was like, what? And you had to wait a year for the next film. Yeah. But the entire gang too of assassins, all of them really betray her too, each and every one of them. So, but Bill's is obviously the most severe of them all. So, just to have your lover, the father of your child, unable to accept that you want a different life for yourself is just so powerful. So yeah, that's my number 2.
Well, I'm pretty sure we have the same number 1. We haven't talked about this, but I know you have the same number 1 because mine, it's a layup and it hasn't come up yet on either of our lists. Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and talk about it? Go ahead and bring it up.
I'm assuming yours is Fredo.
Oh, of course.
From Godfather 2. Yeah. It's the most legendary, I guess, betrayal in cinema, right? So the fact that Fredo basically sells Michael out is to what's the guy's name again? Why am I blanking on
Hyman Roth and Ola. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So it is just the way that that Coppola shoots that thing too, right? With out in the boat into the lake. And then Michael it's just one of the greatest moments in cinema. So, but go ahead.
Yeah, I need to watch that film again. It is so good. Those first 2 Godfather films are so good.
Yeah, I haven't seen the third one. I don't know if I've ever seen the third one from start to finish. This past Black Friday, last year, Best Buy had the really nice edition on Blu-ray for like $5-6 for all 3 films. So I picked it up. Wow. So okay. I have yet to revisit it though. But yeah, no, it's a legendary scene. It really is. Do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, so Mr. Orange and Reservoir Dogs, yep. Cypher in The Matrix,
yep.
Burke, Scar from The Lion King, and then just basically the entirety of The Departed.
Yep. I also had Infernal Affairs on my list, which was the inspiration to The Departed, the original film. I had Rollo Tomasi, right? LA Confidential. Mm-hmm. Primal Fear. You have Edward Norton's turn at the end of that film, which basically made his career. Dial M for Murder, the Hitchcock film, which I love. Some people find it kind of slight, which it might be, but it's still really good. Before he became crazy, I believe, Mel Gibson as Porter in Payback is a lot of fun. And then, of course, Sean Bean as Alec Trevelyan in GoldenEye.
Oh, yeah. Can't trust Sean Bean.
No, you can't. So that's the list, folks. What are your thoughts? Who's your favorite betrayal in a film? Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Next week, I have no idea what we're doing, Matt.
So we're definitely doing Chinatown.
Yep. In fact, it's open on the calendar right now. Because we had no idea what was going to happen. So it's maybe we can do Shirley, Baby Teeth. We have, I don't know, there's The Vast of Night. There are so many things. I know I want to try and do some more horror-themed stuff as October and Halloween is just right around the corner. Hell, when the next show when this show posts, it'll be October.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, so I mean, maybe we should hunt down, see if we can make an October horror list.
All right, we'll see what we can do. That sounds like a good plan. In the meantime, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Do a search for The First Run. Scroll. Eventually, you'll find us. Go over to Apple Podcasts. Give us a review. We'll read it on the air and help other people find the show. Our friends over at ScreenFix, Matt, just had their 100th episode anniversary, which is a lot of fun. So go check that out. Matt and I gave them some congratulations there. That was fun. And that's it. So we're going to go ahead, take an extended break. We'll see you all soon. Take care of yourselves.
Dunkachino.
Fancy boots, lad.
Sie wohnt.